Right. Just checking a couple things. Be sure. We are. Well, we're something. Oh, okay, we're live. Hey, everybody, welcome back to another quality family episode of Star Wars Galaxy Heroes Jedi Academy here on RSG. I'm your host with the most, Ranger J 1999. Tired, exhausted because I was up late because for some reason World Series games take 5 hours to play these days because of 900 pitching changes and 7,000 commercials. But nonetheless, I'm happy because my Astros won. And enough of that, but welcome to the Jedi Academy, and if you're wondering what this is where we hang out with you guys, and we are here to answer your questions about Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. That's right, this is a Q&A show, a straight Q&A show, unlike a lot of our other crazy stuff. And all you need to do is, to participate, is submit your questions. And the way it works is if you have a question for our wonderful panel of folks that we have put together for you for your listening pleasure, all you do is put your question in the chat. Make sure you put question in front of your statement, because if you don't, then Dr. Finn, Medicine Woman, my heterosexual life mate, will find you and then throw a porg at you, and then he will not scoop up your
No, that's
question.
mean to porgs.
Well, they can be used as weapons, so
They can be, but not by me.
well, I mean, yeah.
I'll do nothing. I'll find you and kindly ask you to put questions in front of it.
Well, here's the season for baseball, so I will take a bat with one of those, we'll call them metal porgs, and I will launch it at you. No, I'm not going to do that. I don't even know where you're at. But yeah, it's a straight Q&A show, so question, get them in, put question for your statement, Finn will scoop them up, and then we'll go into the order in which we received them. So it's first come, first serve. Sometimes we get through all the questions, sometimes we don't, so it behooves you to get your questions in sooner rather than later. Can't guarantee that those later questions will get answered. So, that being said, let's introduce everybody on the panel. Of course, you already heard Dr. Finn, Medicine Woman, the Troll Extraordinaire.
Good morning, peoples.
Yes, indeed. We also have, somewhere over the rainbow in California, we've got the one and only sexy Buddha himself, the lightsaber builder extraordinaire, Sir Loki.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
That's
good morning.
Right. That's right. And he's on his way to get me breakfast.
Yeah.
And I'll see it by Tuesday of next week with driving conditions. So, no, he's not getting me breakfast. He's just... what are you doing? Look, you're usually not up this early.
No, I'm not. I'm driving to Phoenix, Arizona right now.
Why would you do such a thing?
I got about a 4 hour, probably another 4 hours to go.
What's in Phoenix, Loki? One of your lovely ladies. And he's gone roboto. Oh no, Loki, we've lost
And
it.
that is what happens when you drive.
Oh, no.
I learned that from first-hand experience.
Sorry.
He's in the
I
middle.
know, it's not your fault,
He's in
it's
the
what
middle of
happens.
BFE.
They barely got cell service out here.
I know, because you're in the middle of BFE. Desert style. No, I was asking you, were in Phoenix, was there any particular reason why you're going to Phoenix there, Loki? We've lost him completely.
Probably.
Oh my god, that's fantastic.
Sounds like one of those old record players. Like you have to...
No,
it's okay.
Oh goodness, that's fantastic. All right, and also joining us, who hopefully is not going to Phoenix or anywhere of that nature other than his normal routine. We've got the man, the myth, the legend, Warrior from Warrior Presents, aka Scissor Man. Oh my God, he's there. Look at him. Oh, is it okay? I saw an eyeball. Oh God. Oh, if you guys were looking,
What's up, Paul?
you need to do that again. Because they didn't see you, Warrior. They just saw a little baby version of you in the right corner because you weren't talking, so they can see. There he is. Look at that. Pulling the. Oh, sorry. Grab your partner by her thigh. I'm sorry. Warrior had me going. What is going on, my friend? How are you this fine day?
Oh, not too bad. Just at work, dancing like a goon
I know.
for y'all.
That is
Did you say by her thigh?
Yeah, I was gonna do a whole do-si-do thingy, and but Warriors stopped dancing, so I couldn't finish. So I mean, you'll just have to use your imagination of what the next couple lyrics would have been.
Yep.
Yeah, so
That's how it works.
That's it. That is imagination. All right. Let me see. Is there anything going on in the game right now? Usually what we do is we're giving you guys time to come in, grab your coffee, grab your croissants. Maybe it's later, you're in Europe, you're over there, and you're still, well, no, you still might be still grabbing coffee and croissants. To get your questions in and stuff, and then we just like to have a little bit of a fireside chat with you. Tell you what we think about what's going on in the game right now, and yeah. I don't think there's anything going on in the game right now, Finn. Is there? No, but I think we can just, you know what, let's just go. Let's all go home.
Nothing new since last week.
Yeah,
we're pretty much in the same position as we were then.
Wait a minute. What do you mean, Finn?
I feel like there is an event missing from our events table.
What do you mean? Warrior, do you know
I don't
what
know.
she
It
means?
feels empty.
Is there something happening that I do not know about?
I don't know. Warrior, do you know it feels like the events table is a little empty?
Yeah, so please refer back 7 days prior, approximately the exact same time, and watch the stream from last Saturday.
Oh, no.
You'll hear a diatribe from me about what's going on.
Oh, no.
Then just, after you listen to it, just come back to today's date and apply it to today.
That's not wrong.
I feel like we've done this before.
It's so
Specifically this.
I was
hard.
We had this discussion on Wednesday, right? I was okay with them, not okay, right? Because it's never good to have a bug, but I was more lenient with them. The fact that the bug happened the first time, because it was working fine before, and this is usually for like regression testing if they introduce something and it broke in, whatever else it is, right? So I was okay with it. Today was ridiculous. This one is just so awful that you can't just help but laugh at the incompetence that is testing at CG for any of their releases. There are only so many different combinations of ways that people could tackle this event, to the point where if you can't test out like 4 conditions, there's something wrong with your testing. Seriously. There's something definitely wrong at CG when they just keep on releasing these things haphazardly.
The part that bothers me the most, I think, about this is they make a big mistake. So like, okay, so this is the deal. The community's pretty flexible, and on Facebook we've been a genuinely positive community, but sometimes we harass people a little just because we're having fun and we troll a little, but it's just in good fun. It's not actually like Reddit like angst. It's like just having fun with each other. But lately I've noticed it's just turned into a terrifying B session, where everybody's complaining about everything. And to be fair, we all feel this way because we're like at our wits' end with the company. And the funny thing is they can mess up. It's okay. They can mess up.
Yeah.
We actually, it's not a big deal. We actually are very, we're very forgiving. But it's how they handle their mess ups that we're having a problem with right now. And it's not that we're, throwing a fit or we don't like the game or, just quit already if you don't like it. No, that's not the solution. That's stupidity. We want to play the game. We desire to play this game. We just want people at that level to be competent in rollout or in the fixes. Now, the biggest problem that I had with this was they broke the game, and from what I've been told physically in person by them, that's the reason why Mythics were created, was so this didn't happen. They tried to bring this event as a playable event back out again, and because it's a 2-sided event, it's just totally broken the game, and I don't know if and how they're going to be able to fix it. But they bring it out and it breaks, and there's people with 5 stars now with 7 stars. There's people with 7 stars only getting some charge shop currency, people that didn't have it, that didn't get it. It's just this weird mix of just mess. Well, anyway, a bunch of people get it, and they think, oh cool, they're kind of giving us the ability to run this through. Some people realized it was a kind of a broken thing, and some people didn't. The people that did, they took advantage of it. They threw as much money at it as possible to get their character up to gear 13, relic tier 7 kind of thing, you know, and put all that energy into it. And some people that didn't know did the same thing. Well, when they rolled it back and then relaunched the event, there are people, when they rolled it back, there are people that were reporting, we have 60 mods still on our guy. Like, that's not possible if he's under, you know, gear 12. He's supposed to not be able to have 60 mods. And they're like, you know what? Who cares? It's in their favor. Well, of course it's in their favor, and Grand Arena is just rolling out again, and now you're allowing them to have an unfair advantage to everybody who didn't, because this is the deal. If I'm going in my Scissorman account against somebody with a Malik, if that Malik has got 60 mods, it might be the difference between whether I win against that Darth Revan team with my Jedi Knight Revan team or not. And so you're now giving them an unfair advantage in Grand Arena against me because you're not willing to fix your problem properly. You're saying meh. Well, if you're going to say meh to that, you need to say meh to all of it and just screw Malik. He's done. Just give everybody equal amounts and just call it a day.
Give us
because at this point it's a mess. And that's the biggest problem I have is some people were able to replay the event again when they weren't supposed to because it's a 2-tiered event.
Right.
So again, they were put back to square one, but square one was allowing them to do dark side again when that's not what they're supposed to be able to do. It's supposed to be a one-time blowout of the currency, and it's so now you got people doing the same cheat over again, and because of this, it's like they know it's a cheat now, you know, because of that. And so now they're having to lock it down. And anyway, it's a turd fire in a dumpster, and I just don't understand why it's happened in the first place. They should have known better. They should have known this was how it was going to end because it's a twofold event. That the coding is you know, spaghetti coding at this point and complex. They should have just, you know, made it to where once you've played it, you can no longer play it ever again. And you know, they could have even made it technically in the game 2 separate events: Malik Part 1, Malik Part 2. And once you complete Part 1, it disappears. And once you complete Part 2, it disappears. And have it disappear like it has in the past. You want to make it replayable. Make a new Malik event. Even if you just leave all the coding identical, create a new name for it, and then just import all of the event stuff into it. But the way that they have it built now, they can't bring it back out. It's just broken. And they've messed up so much now. There's people that haven't, that shouldn't. There are people that shouldn't, that do. There's people that have 60 mods. There's people that have some of the gear. There's a bunch of people. This is the really messed up part. There are a bunch of people that didn't get all of their gear back. And then they said, man, just put in a help ticket with EA so we can see how many people we screwed over. And if it's a lot, we'll deal with it. And if it's not a lot, we won't. And EA doesn't help you. They don't. They're like, sorry, we've checked into it, and yeah, we can't do anything for you. We're sorry. And so their solution is to report to something that doesn't work so they can gauge how bad their mess up is, or at least how bad it appears to be from the people who are proactive enough to even give a crap, who haven't been through EA's help yet, that would actually have some hope that that would work. And then to top it all off, there's tons of people that had like Malik because they purchased Malik all the way up to like 6 stars with like 55, and they needed like 45 shards left. And when it got reset, they're back to a 5-star. It took like all of their additional purchased shards away from them. So, and they're like, what the hell? You know, like I used my physical currency I'd saved to purchase all those shards, and now those are gone. I mean, it is an absolute mess.
It's words are hard.
Can I make one suggestion? I know this is really difficult, but I have one suggestion that may help.
No, Finn, no porgs. All right.
No,
I know you love porgs, Finn.
It's not porgs.
I know that you were part porg at this point, that the clan has accepted you into their tribe, but I mean, it's getting out of hand, Finn. I mean, this is getting a little creepy.
Can we maybe not do releases on a Friday? Seriously. I mean, I work in friggin' IT, and if we release anything on Friday, we need people ready to work on the weekend. Like, this is ridiculous, the number of times that they release things on Friday. Because this is probably one of the most frustrating things, right? It's because now we know we have to wait the entire weekend for them to fix it. Because we know they're not putting in overtime for the Malik event in order to get it up. They're not going to fix this over the weekend. Why the hell do they release things on Friday every single freaking time? It's not just a meme. Either. I mean, it's truth. The meme is generated based on truth, because how many times have we seen, oh, it's Friday, CG's going to release something broken, and look, it's Friday, and they release something broken. I mean, it's every single freaking time. They need to stop releasing things on Friday. This is like the worst IT management I have ever seen. No IT person should ever have a project releasing on a Friday if you don't have people ready on a Saturday to fix it.
Right.
Unless there is an emergency, and the Malik event is not an emergency. Sorry, this is just stupid on their part. Whoever is running their IT department there doesn't know what the hell they're doing if they're allowing releases on a Friday. Sorry, that's just wrong. Every person that works in IT knows you don't release things on a Friday if you're not there over the weekend, because anything that can go wrong tends to go wrong. Murphy is here for a reason.
Yes, I know Audie Murphy.
They keep doing it. It's just so sad. It's over and over and over again. Stop releasing things on a friggin' Friday. We've seen this happen so many times, and they still don't learn. And they wonder why. To Warrior's point, we're forgiving, but at some point you have to learn from your mistakes, and they're not. They're just simply not.
Which is fine if you do want to do releases on Friday. You're absolutely right. You have people on Saturday, right? There's always somebody working on a Saturday or Sunday.
No, there's actually usually there's not. It's usually like it's either a very skeleton or they just don't work on. We've seen them say that they don't have anyone on the weekend, and I'm fine with them not working on the weekend. Yeah, but don't release things on a Friday.
Yeah, just.
It's just so silly.
Well, I mean, they've got events in the game for us to do during the weekend, right? But it's standard stuff. If it's going to be a new release, I think you're right. But this isn't a new release. This is something that's been in the game. This is the third time Alex has been around.
But it's a fix, right? I can understand it the first time. This time, there was something broken. You're trying to release a fix. You have to see the fix all the way through to make sure it works, at least in the first 24 hours of only a 48-hour or 72-hour event. Like, is it really that hard to release it on a Thursday or wait until the Monday so you can make sure it works for the first 24 hours? So if you need to fix it, man.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's just so sad.
Listen here, say, yeah, we'll do what we want. Yeah. It's just this. Words are hard. You just gonna shake your head and go, what? Me? Oh God. I don't know why.
Yeah, there's nothing else to do. They don't learn.
I'm sure the community will not come up with any memes or anything for this. I don't know. I mean.
I don't know. It seems like Warrior may have some ideas of a meme, maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, I think that might.
EA.
EA Games.
If you guys haven't, look in the memes section of our Discord. Warrior posted something just before the stream.
EA Games. We know programming.
No, this one is worse. That's all I can say. If you look in the memes channel, Warrior submission is a lot worse.
Where in?
It's in the memes channel in our Discord.
Oh, in our Discord? Oh,
yeah.
Okay, I'll have to go look at that.
I'm not sure we can read it, but it's there. There we go. All right. So we do have our questions.
Not on this one. This is a kid friendly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So we have our question starting. So Warrior, if you're ready, we have your first question for you.
Yeah, Loki. I think
Loki's currently driving, and he's in a bad reception area.
He's somewhere that.
You sound just like Loki when you're saying that. Okay.
I do not.
You just were like,
how dare you, sir? That was not me. Okay. Get out of here.
All right. First question from Deadpool Kyle. He says, what are they going to do with the Malik event since they can't seem to get it right?
Honestly, I would love to say that they're going to acknowledge this as an utter failure and, try in their mightiest to fix it. But what they should do is say, we have to rebuild this because at this point it's just totally broken. So we're going to have to start over. And the good news is they have all the coding that they can copy paste type thing to a new event, but they're going to have to do something where they fix it by separation or whatnot, because the way that they have it now, it's just it's broken. And so what I foresee is them attempting to fix it again and it breaking again. That's what I see, because the definition of insanity is doing something the same way over and over and over and expecting a different result. That is what we can expect, unfortunately.
Well, my bigger question is, we just got compensation for this. What do you think? I actually think I want to get your opinion, Warrior and Finn. What do you think is a fair compensation for round 2 now, especially with everything that Warrior just listed? This is the second time.
Truthfully, from me, this isn't affecting anyone besides the players that are still trying to get a Malik. So if they can do a correct rollback, honestly, they don't have to give anything. I mean, I'm not. I'm just curious.
I'm just curious on what you think. Yeah, Warrior, what do you think?
Well, dodge Vipers for all, or something to that effect.
All right.
No, they're not. Yeah. I feel the same way, honestly. Like, this is the deal. I don't need anything. I don't want to be a whiny crybaby, as someone called me yesterday about the situation. I'm trying to be a voice for the community and share our angst with the fact that they're inept in making a fix that's going to stay consistently a fix. What I'd like to see, I don't need anything. What I'd like to see is an event that works. So everybody who wanted to get him can. Now, this is the cool part. I always have to spin things, right, positively, because that's just who I am. It's actually been a good thing for a lot of people, even though some of them got totally shafted. As long as they're a squeaky wheel, they're going to get some grease, meaning they're going to get compensation as long as they're loud and obnoxious on EA's customer support, so the devs can see, all these individuals who are affected negatively. But it has given so many people the opportunity to delay the ability. I mean, they've gotten almost 2 extra weeks out of this for developing characters. I can't tell you how many people on Facebook said, you know what, I didn't have 2 of my characters ready, but the extra couple of weeks has given me enough time to get a couple extra characters exactly where I needed for Malik. Now I can play the Malik event. The part that's going to be frustrating to me is if Darth Revan gets pushed back because of this, because the events are on a cadence, and I would hate to see them push the cadence of the other events because of this. The other events should be coming and going just like they normally should be. What I'd like to see is it just broken so bad that it just keeps breaking until Darth Revan comes back, so I can get Darth Revan. So then I can try to get Malik on my Scissorman account after I get my Malik. Or after I get my Revan.
No, that's science. Oh. Yeah, I was just going through the forums and just seeing, Monday we'll have a response and fix. All right. Oh, goodness. What to do? Oh, God. All right. Who joined us? There's someone else who joined us on the call. Is that you, Loki?
I'm trying, man.
All right. You tell that fine honey you're on your way to Phoenix for it. She'll just have to wait.
Yes, I am.
That's right. So, Loki, what's your...
talk to my homies.
Yeah, your homies. What is your take on the whole Malik thing, since you're on the road and we've got a signal with you? So before you, get lost in the desert, what are your thoughts?
No, I'm just kidding.
No, don't.
Hopefully I'm still there. I gotta talk fast. I agree with Finn. I think they should just do a whole rollback. If they gotta eliminate one phase, but make it work. Fix it. I don't need anything, but I don't like that they had all these different compensations either for different players of what they did. They shouldn't waste their time doing the compensation. They should just fix it and get it over with.
Makes sense. All right. Let us get to the other questions. Dr. Finn, what do we have?
All right. So since Loki is here,
real quick, I have to do a shout out. Give me a second here. Our good friend Suicide Squad. You know what I had in Discord, and then my Discord just went poofy. Oh no, Finn, it went poofy. Hold on a second. Hold on, give me a second. I promise I would do this because Suicide Squad.
You want to do the next question first?
Yeah, do that. Let me pull it up.
Okay. So next question for Loki from Bearius Aegon. and he says, people are saying General Skywalker doesn't perform well at 5 stars. Could there be a bug where he is taking double damage if you are the tip of the spear?
It wouldn't surprise me if there's a bug. But I think we all know he's just not great because of relics now. The Gear 11 5-star doesn't work like it did a year ago. Because Relic 1 is just so good now. So, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I think we had this discussion. Warrior, you can chime in too. We had this discussion before. I know the question's a little bit jokey with the tip of the spear part, but 5-star General Skywalker, I think a lot of us saw it and thought that the kit was really good, but 5-star just isn't going to be enough because you are going to need to get at least 12, 13 with the relics, plus the potential that the ARC Trooper is really what's going to end up making the Skywalker team a better team. So what are your thoughts on just the 5-star Skywalker?
Don't forget the Zetas
and his usefulness. Yeah, and of course the Zetas. Yeah, he has 4 Zetas. So okay, Warrior, what are your thoughts on just the 5-star gas?
Every single character that's ever come out, like Scion, you could use him as a tank at 3 stars. He was very viable. And the thing was any tank that came out or leader that came out was very viable because leader gave leadership abilities out, and tanks were just very tanky, and he's a leader in a tank. So had he been released in year 1, year 2, year 3, year 3.5, he'd have been fine. He'd have been great right where he's at. The issue is relics, for sure. You're right, because relics take a character from gear 13 to gear 22 and instantly, like really fast. And so you're talking about the difference between, 70,000 health and protection combined, which is solid, by the way, for a tank. Back in the day, that was like good. And then all of a sudden, you see some people with 180,000 at Relic Tier 7. And, there's 110,000 health and protection difference. That's the difference between him working and not working now in Arena, because everything you're facing in Arena is relics. And if you're not facing relics, then you're probably not in the top 50 or top 100 even, because I've seen people out of the top 100 that are facing relics at like 600, So relics have changed the game, and they've changed the game for good and bad. I mean, there's always going to be pros and cons to every change. The problem is with relics, everything they release from this point on, everything, every marquee, every event, everything, the characters are going to be complete and utter trash until you can max them, because Grand Arena Championships, Territory Wars, Arena, you need these characters Relic Tier 3 or 5 to even be competitive, and 7 if you really want to dominate. So yeah, everything from here on out, relics that's the one downside relics have made, is they've made themselves, which I think they love, relics are a necessity now. So any character you get that you want to make cool, you've got to relic it, which means you got to take a character to gear 22 when you get it. And the game probably loves that, because that means a lot of money spent. But otherwise, it's trash. So just remember that. Every marquee character you guys get, every character that comes out that's not farmable yet, that's like, oh, there's special packs for, if you don't get it all the way to 7 stars and then invest in all the relics, the character is probably going to be trash. A good example of that is, we know a marquee character is coming in for clones, which is the dude that's got the turret that's coming in. He's going to come marquee. You're going to get him 3 stars, and he's going to be utter trash on that team. He's actually going to make the team worse if you happen to have like an Ahsoka Relic Tier 3 or something. It's going to be way worse until you can get him to 7 stars, which means you have to spend $300 on the character. You'll have to spend another $200 on relics or whatever, 200 on gear. So you're talking about a $700 investment into every character, or wait 6 months during free to play to get them to where they need to be. So make sure when you're making buying decisions, every character equals $700 to $1,000 in your head. If you do that, it will help you make better decisions as to whether you want to say, nope, screw that, I'm not spending, or whether you're like, I made money, I'm going to buy it, so whatever. It's just make sure you understand the full breadth of what you have to do, because you can't just get a marquee and use them anymore, which is really sad, to be honest, because in the past, marquees were cool. You could get them at 3 stars. You throw them on their team. They made the team viable. A lot of times these marquees were really good characters like Spirit or Zombie, which were both very viable at 3 stars, or, I love Range Trooper. He was an amazing character at, Gear 8 3 stars. He was still viable because of his kit. Just cool characters you could plug and play immediately. And at this point now, moving forward, there's nothing they're going to give that's going to be worth assault, Lick Assault at all for anyone, which really kind of sucks because it's free to play. That was kind of the thing. We waited. We'd get marquees and you would gear them up to 11 and then you would just wait until you could get them the rest of the way up. But you could at least still use them.
Right. Which I think, do you have the thing you were going to mention, Ranger?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay. So I'll let you go ahead and do that, and then we have a nice transition to the next
We
one.
have our good friend Suicide Squad, and he wanted me to do a shout-out, since he knows that Jedi Academy is something we do every Saturday. Today is him and his wife's 26th year anniversary. So I'm going to do a shout-out. I find your union complete 26 years. It was I who allowed your longevity and temerity of love. Remember that. And her name is Cindy. So happy anniversary to one of our good time skewers and friends and supporter of the channel, Suicide Squad. Now go forth and kill pogs on your anniversary. There you go. So, wanted to get that in.
No, hug porgs. Hug porgs. They're friendly. They'll make your day better.
That's right. So, happy anniversary, you two. Hope you have a great day.
Congratulations.
Yes, hope you have a awesome day.
I'll be honest, I don't think porgs are as nice as you think they are. We just never got to see their dark side. That's all. I genuinely believe they were sitting there and they looked all cute in the movie and all that, but what you didn't see is when he went to go eat his pork buddy and they all got big eyes and looked at him and he was like, oh, and he threw it down. What he didn't realize was if he wouldn't have thrown their buddy down that had been cooked and if he would have taken a bite, he'd have had 4,200 of those little porgs killing him. And it would have been brutal and there would have been big razor sharp teeth coming out and these eyes would have gone from big and cute to little beady black eyes and they would have mauled and killed him and Chewie would be dead. So you guys be careful about that poor glove.
Mm-hmm. See?
No, that just means don't piss them off. They're nice and friendly until you make them angry. You don't want to see the porgs angry.
Yeah, they'll just
Are you going to eat the pork hamburger, Finn?
No, of course not. That's awful. I still can't believe Star Wars you put that up there. That was very
amazing.
It was very disturbing.
I can't wait.
So it was a nice transition with your last response, Warrior. What else 73 has a question. He says, how hard do you think light side GOTB will be compared to dark side GOTB? Equally hard, or will they make it tougher?
Oh, 100% they're going to make it tougher. Everything they release PvE content-wise, they always up the ante, and they gear it up. Like, we're going to see, like, level 98 or level 100 characters that are, like, equivalent to, like, Relic Tier 7. I mean, the tip of the spear, if you want to call us that, Maw and Team Instinct and the top, like, 5 characters in the world can't even get on average. This is across all top 500 characters. Now, there's some people that can do it, but we're talking about the average here. The tip of the spear can't even get 2 of 4 on the last day. We still have yet to get a 33 star and make it a obsolete event. So, and now they're bringing out this other event, which is probably coming out. My guess is in November, just before because December is going to be a bunch of new character releases. So they're going to do the PvE releases in November and finish up with Kai Mundai or whatever, which you're going to need him probably. You're going to probably have to have him for the Geonosis territory battle to survive. He's like going to be some super overpowered character you're going to have. But that's the problem. Is it's like they're making things where you have to spend or you can't be competitive at the tip of the spear, and so it's just a shame. So I think the new characters will be cool, but I'm not in a rush to get any of them because, like I said, they all to me, when I see a new character released, what it means is you either have to wait 6 months with your currency, or you have to spend $600 to $1,000, and neither one of those is appealing to me. So I guess I'll just wait the 6 months. So anyway.
And
All right.
And in the chat, Suicide Squad, thanks so much, Ranger. You guys are the best. No, you are the best. And I hope you guys have a wonderful anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
It's the least we can do.
And at least another 26 years.
That's right. So, practice those dark side arts. Get that immortality going. So there you go.
All right. Loki, you ready for your next one?
Sure.
All right.
I'll be so excited. Oh my God.
As long as the code doesn't chop up, man, I'm good.
On the road again. Loki
Ranger,
just can't get on that road
just
again.
really quick. I think you need to update Loki's name, and then Zoom isn't on the stream anymore.
Oh,
so.
it's not?
No, but we need to update Loki's name and everything.
Oh, you know why? Because I... Yeah, okay.
Yep. Okay, so Loki, next question, Daniel McCracken. Question, what is the seat of priority for Padme, GK, Jedi Knight Anakin, and the Ahsoka squad? Is there one that can be left off?
You said the speed order? Is that what it is?
He says seat priority. What is the seat priority of... I'm assuming it means speed or gear? I'm assuming gear.
Well, it could be a speed order. Which team is it again? Say it again.
It says seat.
Yeah,
S-E-A-T. But I think he means gear. Let's go with gear. What is the gear priority for Padme, GK, Anakin, and Ahsoka squad? And is there one that can be left off?
Holy crap. That's a tough one. I mean, you don't want Ahsoka to die. So in my own squad, I think it was, I took Ahsoka and I took GK first up.
Same.
Oh, he wants Anakin in there. So I took Anakin first.
Yeah,
to,
Anakin, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you can gear 13, Anakin, GK, and Ahsoka, and I think you're good to go. And then you want to do the R5 plus on Anakin and GK. And then Ahsoka's like close to like R3 and plus. But you really need the relics on Ahsoka so she survives. Because I'm going to assume you're probably going to use this team for, I mean, I guess you can use it for Darth Revan, but then you could probably use it for Gigi as well. And you just need Ahsoka to stay alive so you can keep that that dispel going. And then Padme probably last, but you just want Padme back because of the protection up. You just want to do a bunch of protection up with her to keep the team alive. So priority would be Anakin, then GK, then Ahsoka, I think is what I would do.
All right. Next question then for Warrior from 10 Bears. And his question is, are there any reliable tactics to counter the Negotiator without mirror matching?
Why, yes, there is. So, really, there's two meta teams you can use, and it's about 50-50 on a lot of shards, and of course, some of the shards that are a little more whaley are a little less 50-50. But you can use the Millennium Falcon meta that was the previous meta just fine. The only thing it requires is leveling up the character's relics to make those ships faster, so you get the speed jump, and then you can win. That's the actual counter that Maw and Team Instinct and everybody is using right now, because we're setting Negotiator on defense, and so we use our Millennium Falcon fleet on offense, and we do just fine. But it requires, just like this is the other thing. A lot of people have the Negotiator, and they've got like a Relic Tier 7 General Kenobi. Does anyone have a Relic Tier 7 Admiral Akbar? No. Why? Because that's old meta, right? So everybody invests in the new meta. The thing is if you invest as much in the old meta as people do in the new meta, you'll be just fine. I trust me, it works really great. I've painfully had to put Biston's ship, Biston at Relic Tier 3 and Scarifable Pathfinder at least Relic Tier 3, and all of a sudden the speed jump is spreading out.
Are we losing Warrior sound?
Yeah, Warrior suddenly went kind of distant.
She's going to Arizona with me.
Hey! No.
You sound like you're talking through like a tube. It just suddenly broke. I don't know what happened.
What is happening? Are we... Finn, are we being infiltrated by CG to keep us from answering these questions? Imagine a man working at a mattress store. Secretly, he was the best player in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes until he realizes.
It's still, it's a little better.
I went off of Wi-Fi. I didn't know if it was Wi-Fi or not. This is why I always call in, because my calls are always clear, and Wi-Fi and internet always seems to be weird. So,
Now
do
it's
I sound better now?
Not really, no.
Not really, no.
Okay, I'm going to disconnect.
Yeah, disconnect and
Okay.
call back. Yeah,
He makes my connection sound good. You know?
Yeah, I know. That's not good.
Go ahead and hide the Zoom window for a second, Ranger, so when Warrior joins, then you can change his name and everything.
I could do all this work. Oh.
I know. Hey, at least I'm here to get questions.
All right, give me a question. I'll answer a question.
No, hold on. I think
I'll
Warrior's
do
back.
a question.
Warrior, you back?
Yeah, how's it now?
Oh, perfect.
Much better.
Perfect.
How about now?
Perfect.
How about now?
How about that? How about that?
Can you hear me now? How about now? How about
All
now?
right.
Okay.
Continue.
So all I was saying is you know, everybody's got the newest and greatest, and so they're investing all these relics. Why? Because, you know, Ahsoka's meta for characters, and Anakin's meta for characters, and their ships are meta for ships, and so it makes sense 2-for-1s, right? But nobody's really investing in the relics for the old meta. They're like, well, old meta's old meta, so I guess we'll just leave them alone. And the characters aren't fun. Nobody wants to put Biston to Relic Tier 3. But I tell you, if you do that, you can compete very easily. In fact, unfortunately for us, we're having to raise the relic tier on Admiral Akbar and Biston and SRP and all the old meta, so that way we have a valid counter, because you can't expect for old meta to compete with new meta if new meta is at relic tier 3 and above, but your old meta is not even relic. It's not even. That's again the problem with relics. So.
All right.
Suicide Squad's in the chat that we made. His wife cry.
Aw. I don't want to make anyone cry. Did she cry because Ranger was talking about doing bad things to Porgs?
No.
She likes Porgs, doesn't she? She likes Porgs, and Ranger was mean to Porgs. So Ranger, you should be ashamed of yourself.
No, Finn. That's not the right time she's crying. She's crying because you're a potato head.
You made Cindy cry because you were mean to Porgs.
Hi, Hulker with the Frog here. And today we are going to talk about porgs. Porgs make people cry because they're awful. Yay!
They are not, and you are awful, sir. You're just going to make Cindy cry more. No. So mean, all of you. Okay. You ready, Loki, for your question?
I think so.
All right. So Helenix has a question. What's the ideal modding strategy for General Grievous and his 5 Separatist droids? This discussion has probably been beaten to death, but I just finished starring and gearing my General Grievous Separatist droids, and I can't remember.
So which droids does he want to run? Just like the standard Separatist?
Well, let's
Does he wanna
go.
run
Yeah,
Fly?
let's do 2. Yeah, so we could do like if you're doing GAC where you use a droid lineup, and then we can do like the nuke lineup for Arena.
Yeah, sure. So General Grievous, obviously, health sets, health primaries, probably on everything. So arrow, cross, circle. I like to run the crit damage triangle myself, but only if you have them like relic, 5 and up, because then his critical chance and all that climbs like crazy, like what Warrior says at gear 22. So I think he'll at relic 7 you can get him to like 90% crit chance or something like that if you bought him correctly. So the crit damage might be pretty good. And then stack all the health. So health set again with health arrows, cross and circle. And then D1 is all offense. I like offense set with probably the potency set. And then if you have good speed secondaries with offense primaries on the arrow, triangles, cross, and circle, I think you're good. Because you want that guy hitting hard. And if you have him at a high relic level, then it's like, I think 10,000 offense you can get with him. And then the other 3 droids, so Magna Guard, I like to have all protection primaries. So you can either put a defense set or a health set on him as well. And you just want him super tanky because he's going to take all the hits, hopefully. And then B2, you want a mix of, like, potency and tenacity on him. So I have, like, a couple of potency sets, a tenacity set, and then depending on what you got in your inventory, if you want to run a potency primary or a tenacity primary cross, that would be good. But you want him landing the debuff so he gives turn meter to the team. And then you also want him to resist debuffs, which is important. And then your fifth, you can either run Droideka, and Droideka, just a lot of offense, some protection on him, but I think mostly offense so he hits hard. Or if you're going to run Watt, then Watt with, like, a lot of speed. The fifth spot, I think, is kind of flexible with those two. And if you're going to run Watt, then just make sure that your Magna Guard is the tankiest, because then he opens with the shield generator on Magna Guard right off the bat. And hopefully he doesn't give it to, like, Grievous, or he doesn't give it to B2. So you want your Magna Guard super tanky. I think that's about it.
I think you've done a good job, Finn. I just thought of something, Finn.
Oh no!
Have you heard of Man Bear Porg? I'm being super serial here. Man Bear Porg is a real thing. I'm being super serial. Why are you doing that?
Why did nobody
Excelsior? Look at it. It's a man. It's a bear.
It's half man, half bear, half pork.
Excelsior!
God. That. He's just a sad old man. He just needs a friend. All right.
I'll give me a question, Finn. So I'll be part of the until, like, maybe T-Money or somebody shows up. I can answer a question, Finn. I will.
Well, I was actually going to give double question to Warrior and Loki this round.
Yeah. Double your pleasure, double your fun. Man, bear, pig.
All right. So, Warrior, you ready for your double questions?
Let's do this.
All right. So, first one here from X-Lord Benthager. He says, do you think Relics broke the Sith raid? Definitely after what Skeltrix did yesterday?
Yeah, from what I understand, he tried to run just himself with all of his characters through the entire Sith raid, and I didn't get to see the result. I just saw the beginning when he had horrific RNG in phase one. I thought, oh man, I can't watch this. It's going to be like 12 hours. But it was cool, and I wouldn't call it broke the game in a sense, because it's not like, ooh, we accidentally had this happen. They knew this was going to happen. They said that Relics were going to make everything prior worthless. Basically, it would antiquate everything that had been previous as PvE content, and they knew that. So that's why the Geonosis TV is so difficult, and why the light side one's going to be even more difficult, because they knew they basically have to assume now that all your greatest characters are going to be relics, and so they have to make it as if you're going against it with relic, tier 7 characters. So they have to, build it to be competitive against that, which kind of sucks. Like I said, I wish that all PvE content had different levels, and then each level had different reward amounts, kind of like the original Rancor and the original Hat raid. The way it would work, and the AAT raid, and the way it would work is if you launched like a tier 1, you got kind of crappy rewards, but it was actually pretty easy. You could take in a team of 20 people that didn't have very good rosters and still beat it, and you get something for it. So it encouraged involvement at every level, and it rewarded at every level, and it gave teams, I want to do the next level. Like we want to get those rewards, so that box looks a little better. So let's get another person. Let's recruit. Let's develop X, Y, and Z guys. And see if we can get them from gear 8 to gear 9 or gear 9 to gear 10. Let's work as a team, and that's what PvE content was designed for. It was something that was fun, that wasn't super competitive, that allowed for people to have a kind of a fun team experience. They've forgotten that, and what they've done is now everything that comes out that's PvE has one mode. It's hardcore mode, and then they say, oh well, it's in-game content, and everybody like me is supposed to say, yeah, you idiots, it's in-game content. No, it should be new content that's available to everybody, because who wants to play a game where there's only new content for the end user only? I mean, if you go and look at Marvel Strike Force or any of the competitors, they have differing levels on everything that they're putting out, which allows for you to play at the varying levels based on your guild's success. And so the tier system was so amazing. But with like territory battles, that was the first time they brought something out where they were like, this is end game, either do it or don't, suck it up kind of thing, buttercup. And guilds would go in there and they would get varying rewards based on how many stars they could get. But now they've made it to where, because of relics, where you have to be in game to even really compete. If you're a beginner guild, you're just cut out. So I just wish that they would kind of remember their roots and build PvE content and raid content that was tiered in a way that had multiple tiers and allowed for everyone, whether you're someone who's played for 30 days or someone who's played for 6 months or someone who's played for 4 years. You have the ability to go in with a guild, whether they're 10 people in the guild or 50 people in the guild, and compete at a level that would be competitive for you but still allow you to compete. And I know that there are territory battles and stuff where you can't even launch it if there's not, like, I think it's 20 or 25 people minimum in your guild. You've got to have like a minimum threshold of even people to even get in it. And so that, to me, that just they've kind of lost sight of what was so great when you first came in to the game. And I love the theory crafting and all of that. The Sith raid is the one raid that some people have just never come to like, and I would have to say I'm okay with it, but I was never a super fan of it. But I loved Rancor. I loved that when I first started playing Rancor and trying to come up. Do you remember like the Tebow lead or the Darth Vader turn meter reduction team? You know what I mean? Like there were so many like creative, like, or Jyn Erso. Do you remember? She was so quote unquote broken because she could just slide across and take away 100% turn meter that they had to quote unquote fix her to where she could never remove 100% turn meter completely. I had her and I was so pissed when they took her away because they were like, she's too overpowered, you can just solo the raid. And it's like, that was back in the day when they didn't want you to solo Rancor with one character. Now CLS comes out and he's like, what?
Oh, I'm sorry, Warrior. The answer we were looking for was Queen Elizabeth I. All right, let's see if you can try to get these points and make that up on our second question.
Well, really quick, I just wanted to say, so Warrior, your point on Sith raid is actually pretty spot on, because I can remember, because my guild didn't originally start with the tier 7. We were working through tier 5 and tier 6 for a long time. The worst part about the Sith raid, which I think was what was off-putting for a lot of people, and I don't know if this was maybe the same thing for you as well, was that tier 1 at the time just forced you to have Jedi training raid. The funny part was in tier 6, it was so much fun trying to experiment and find teams. There was a Barriss Lee Jawa team that I was able to use effectively in tier 6. But in tier 7, it doesn't work because the health pool and everything is different. And so the detonator damage was all skewed compared to tier 6. I actually found tier 6 more fun than tier 7 because it didn't seem to like pothole you right into a single character, or pigeonhole you, sorry, not pothole. Pigeonhole you into a single team for that first phase. And the Nihilist phase was honestly the worst one, and having it right in the beginning just felt really bad for the Sith raid. Like it was hard to generate interest when you really only could use one squad at the time before they started adding a bunch of the other stuff.
Yeah, it was like you have to have a Jedi training raid team, and you have to do 5% of the damage minimum, because there's 50 of you times 5% equals the 100% or whatever. So it's like, you have to do this, you have to have this, you have to have that. And I just remember feeling the like immense stress of having to do, and like doing a run and getting like 4% and realizing I wasn't going to get my extra percent and having to back out and start over and back out and start over. And you're right, it wasn't as fun. Whereas the AAT and the Rancor, there were varying methods to every level, and you could do a team and it may not be as effective as a new team, and so people were finding more effective teams, which was cool, but there were many effective teams. Whereas, like you say, phase 1 of Sith raid was initially like, sorry, it's JTR or nothing at all. And then of course finally Yoda lead came out, and that was a decent lead team. But then then Basti and then Revan, it was like, oh
yeah.
All right.
All right. So Warrior's second question now from Darth Scion 1972. And it's for Warrior. He says, my cluster of guilds have lost numerous members. I know people join and leave constantly. I'm concerned about the status of the game I love. Do you think the exodus is temporary?
No, there's always people leaving. There's always people joining. I don't believe there's as many people joining as people leaving. I think that the in-game user pool is shrinking, and so this is the thing. I think you're going to have to, as guilds, overcome and adapt. Meaning, you're going to have to start thinking outside the box. For example, my Scissorman account is a 2 million account with like a little over 1 million of it character GP. I don't think any high-end guild would even consider adding me because of my GP. They would just like, oh, we're 4 million GP. You got to have 4 million GP. But I actually have, a Padme team that's totally overpowered. Even at Gear 11, I have a couple relic characters. I've got a Revan team. I'm about to get Darth Revan. Like, I've got what matters for in-game. And that's the thing with new characters, new people playing. New people playing are coming in, and they get the benefit of knowing everything up to this point, where we had to struggle through and we GP'd out, Jedi Training Rey. Do you know Jedi Training Rey and BB-8 is actually wasteful at this point? They're not even worth going for. They're not even a necessary team, not even for the Sith Raid anymore. There's no need for them. Now, if you want to go for them like I went for BB-8, that's fine, but you don't have to. In fact, you can push them off forever because Revan and Darth Revan are more important. Clones are now more important. Clones are more important than Grievous now, and Grievous is amazing, but clones can mollywop that fool into oblivion. So, you got to go for what's most important. So you got new players that are like, okay, I'm going to go for Bastila, then Revan, then Darth Revan, then clones, then Grievous, and they've got the best 4 teams in the entire game at Gear 11 or above with some key characters relics. And they're super streamlined GP, so they don't look like they would be effective for your team, but they're probably better than the lower half of the rosters in your guild, because your guild's got people that have like Gear 12 Ugnaughts at 4 million GP. And that's so you, as a guild leader, you're going to have to start getting creative and thinking outside the box and thinking about these newer, younger whales that are coming in, because I can tell you their rosters are primed. Plus, if you can find those upcoming whales, those rosters won't stay at 2 million for very long. They're going to go to 3 million, 4 million, 5 million pretty quickly, and those people are going to be the new blood for your guild that you need. Those are the people that have been playing that are fresh. So the challenge is, as a guild leader, is I'm losing old people. Where can I find the new player? Where can I find that? Recruiting is going to become hyper essential, and saying, we have fun, we do everything, we have a good time. Where are they? But you got to lower those prerequisites. I can tell you there's a lot of old guilds holding on to weird prerequisites, like if you don't have a Jedi Training Rey team, you can't be joined. You can't join. If you're not 3.5 million or above, you can't join. Well, you're missing out on a lot of potential opportunity. Let some people grow in your guild early on, because if they get that and you foster those relationships, you may have some of the best future players that are available in your guild.
Oh, I'm sorry. The answer we were looking for was, in quote, was, oh God, the money from Urs. All right, let's go on to I'll
just throw this out there too. If you're interested, Warrior, we have one spot that we're looking to fill, so we would gladly take your 2 million roster if you want to. We have heroic Sith on farm. Sorry.
My Scissorman is in Force Canada, and shout out to Force Canada, because we're like 145 million GP, but we do like 14 stars in the GOTB.
Very nice.
So we only have like 40 players and only about 25 that are like super hardcore, but the ones we have are hardcore. Like, they are like, we're doing everything. They do the Sith raid in like 2 hours, which is awesome. We weren't even doing the Sith raid when I joined Force Canada. They couldn't even do Sith raid. Like, that wasn't even a flash in anyone's mind. And then I joined, and then like a month later, they're like, well, let's give the heroic Sith a try. And we brought in a merc, and the merc basically carried us, but showed us and told us what teams we needed. And so the guild said, okay, let's start developing these teams so we can do it ourselves. And within 2 months, we were doing it all on our own. And now they do it in 2 hours. And they do GOTB and they do everything. It's really crazy. There's a lot of guilds out there that are literally competing in every aspect of the game now, and they don't even have 150 million GP. That's my point, is there's these streamlined rosters that, like, me and like 10 other people are new to the game, and we have these super streamlined rosters, but we're actually able to effectively go against other guilds and win consistently in territory wars, because these are guilds that have old school blood and we're new school blood. We've got all the Padme teams, all the Geonosis teams, all the Revens and Darth Revens, and these people still have all these like Gear 12s, 50 Gear 12 characters that are kind of moot point at this point. So it's all about efficiency at this point.
That's science.
Yeah. So really quick announcement for you guys, a couple of them. First one, if you guys could take a second, please make sure that you give us a thumbs up if you guys are liking the content here, and so you guys can join us. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to all the people on the panel too. Those that are here and aren't here as well, they're all listed in the crew below in the description. So take a second if you guys can later today to go to their channels. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Also, I don't have it in the description of the video, but it is popping up in the super chat. We are currently doing our fundraiser for the American Cancer Society, and I wanted to give a shout out to Stings, who just donated to the Tiltify campaign.
Oh, very nice.
They donated $100 to the Tiltify campaign.
Hey, thank you.
So thank you very much, Stings. We don't have our usual stuff pop up on the Jedi Academy stream, but I really do appreciate it. And if you guys are interested in helping out with the American Cancer Society as well, our campaign is ongoing, and the link is popping up with Nightbot in the chat. So
yes,
thank you guys very much.
And a program note that right after this Jedi Academy, I will be doing my GAC. And then, Finn, are you doing anything for Borderlands or anything today, the rest of the day?
Probably not.
All right, so.
I'll be playing, but not on stream.
I'm just throwing it out there. People want to know.
All right. So, Loki, are you ready for your double question?
I'm ready like I'm ready, man.
Loki's going for...
All right. So, first question from Browse Bear. Hope I didn't butcher that. Browse Bear 0 or O. Browse Bear O. Question. No. It's actually the letter O. It's actually not an odd.
You sure it's not an odd?
Yeah, I'm sure it's not an odd.
I'm pretty sure Grod don't think that's an odd.
He might, but it's not. All right. So, Browse Bear O. Question. When do you expect new content for the game not talking about Lightside TV? And could it be a ship raid or a mixed raid with characters and ships?
I don't know anymore because of all these pushbacks with Malik and all the bugs. I mean, they just announced that whole disappearing buttons bug again, and that's been happening now too. So I'm hoping that none of these bugs and setbacks have messed up the cadence. Warrior mentioned it earlier. I hope they stay on target, and we do have some new big content for episode 9. Some more Clone Wars stuff, some Mandalorian stuff. I mean, that's a lot of stuff to cram into quarter 4 of the calendar year, right? So, I hope next month, next month is supposed to be, next week actually, it's supposed to be Lightside GOTV. So they're going to have to cram a lot of stuff into December, and then roll it into January. But I hope that it's like what you said. I hope it's a new raid of some sort. I hope it's a new game mode with new mechanics, and it's not just the typical reskinned events or tunes or anything like that. So I'm anticipating hopefully December, January. Hopefully they do a Christmas thing. February is Sith month, so I hope they keep the tradition with that. They did mention the epic confrontation, so I hope they keep with that and do something cool in February. But that's going to be my guess. Is going to be Mandalorian stuff, episode 9, rolling into December, January, and then Sith month for February.
All right. And then your second question is from who, ? And he asked this, and it's similar to what Warrior's first question was, so now we can get your take. And he says, sorry if you cover this, but do you guys think I will ever get Malik? I'm so angry right now that I've had 2 weekends where I had time to work on it, and now I will be hosed.
I hope that...
What? Did we lose?
I hope they make right and
I think we're losing Loki.
Sorry, am I back now?
You're back
clear
now.
mountain.
You're back now.
Okay. I gotta go fast. No, I'm just kidding. No, I just cleared mountain. But I hope that they make right, and I hope that they do it quickly. So yes, I think you're gonna get Malik. I hope they just make the event. I mean, they can redo the event and just make it. Maybe they only show the light side or the dark side that you didn't complete or something like that. I don't know. But I hope they do it fast and they give everybody Malik, and then we can move on. And we can move on with new content.
There is a point that was brought up when I said earlier, right? And I think Warrior was agreeing, like, we don't necessarily need any, like, quote unquote, make good for this. Because it is errors, mistakes and stuff happen. They just need to fix it and hopefully just get the event right. I do feel bad though. I'll mention this. There are some people that said like they took a day off of work in order to do the Malik event because they really wanted it the first time around. And now it's the second time. And again, they're getting shafted with this and it's messed up their timing with GAC right now because they could have had Malik before this GAC and now they don't. They can potentially still miss like whatever the territory war is going to be right after this TV is done, right? So it can impact a lot of different aspects of the game. And I feel bad for the people that were hoping to get it sooner than later and kind of getting forced to keep on waiting and waiting and waiting. I don't know what the solution is. I mean, they need to just get it right.
The solution is whoever has partial shards, just give them all the shards already for 5-star unlock and just get it over with. I mean, what's more important than making mistakes? I mean, they've been making a lot of mistakes, but what's even more important is just fix it fast because you keep screwing up everybody's time. And like what Warrior mentioned before is they're using so much time to fix all this crap, and it's taking away from the time when they're supposed to be developing new content, and they're not doing it. Because they're fixing Malik, and the easy fix is just give everybody all the shards that already have shards now for the 5-star unlock and get it over with, and then move on.
Is anyone here opposed to that? Like, if there is somebody that doesn't have Malik unlocked, but they have all the required characters and with the GPs and everything in order to unlock it, just give it to them and close out this event so we don't have to keep on dealing week after week with the Malik issue? I mean, Warrior, is that a reasonable solution? I mean, I'm okay with it. I have Malik at 7-star, though, so obviously it's a little skewed perspective, but I think that's a fair thing just to end this at this point.
Well, so in a perfect world, you wouldn't have to just give everybody a character just because you're, boneheads. But that's kind of the direction it's going. Like, this event's so plagued, they just probably cut their losses, move on, and just say, here is 150 shards. We're gonna unlock it across the board in the store, so everybody can start slowly buying him out. Or just do that. Just say he's no longer unlocked. We're gonna take away the event, and everybody just has to buy him. And what that would do is anyone that hasn't gotten him could now instantly get him, but then they'd have to buy him with Grand Arena Championship coins from the very first shard. Something like that. While it's ugly, it's better than keep bringing out a broken event that they have to keep pulling. Obviously, eventually they're gonna hopefully have it resolved and figured out. But it would be nice in a perfect world that they could just go, oh, we see what happened. Fix. Here's the event. Sorry, guys. Here's a little compensation. No big deal, and we move forward. This is a mobile game. It's not a big deal. But I think they see it as a big deal to give away Malik, who's the second hardest to get character in the entire game, arguably the first when you consider that, he's impossible because they won't bring the event back. So I'm just kidding. But the truth is he's the second hardest character to get. And at this point, just giving him out, I don't think they're ready or prepared to do that. So I don't know what solution in their mind. I think in their mind, they're like, they're those people that are just going to keep retrying to do it over and over and over and over, no matter how many times they fail. Again, the definition of insanity. So.
Yeah, and at the current situation in the community, it's probably a bad time to do that if it's going to be a constant failure after failure too. They've already used up a lot of their goodwill, I think, with the community on that one. Okay, so those were Loki's 2 questions. Now we're back to 1 question apiece. So Warrior, question for you from Darsion 1972, and his question is: I'm a middle of the road spender each month. I'm beginning to feel maybe I should go free to play due to the mistakes and not being refunded what I just lost to get the mallet gear to 13. What are your thoughts?
Well, if you spent money on gear, they should have pushed that gear back to you. So you technically did get your gear back, but you did specifically spend that gear for Malik, and now you don't have Malik. And so if you genuinely are in a situation where you thought you were getting Malik for real and you weren't like, doing the event knowing you're getting Malik, without the proper cause, if you actually thought you were earning him and you actually spent on that and they're not giving you your money back, you have to decide. This is a game. You should have fun. If you don't have fun, you should quit. That's just how it works in my mind. It's pretty simple. There's addiction. There's also people who, I'll admit, I'll be the first to admit, I'm one of those people who I'm invested enough. I feel like I can't walk away. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people like us who you put enough into it, you're like, as long as it maintains some level of fun, I can't walk away because I've got too much invested in it. So, but don't get there. Don't be there. And if you are there, seriously consider where you're at, because this should be fun. If you're sitting in a position where you're thinking to yourself and you're saying, I don't think I want to spend anymore, follow your gut. Don't spend anymore, because there's probably going to be a feeling of emptiness after each time you spend, and a feeling of discontent that's going to grow and grow and grow every time you click that spend button. And so if you're there now and you're feeling that discontent now, it only gets worse, and it only feels hollower and hollower as you go down. So I would suggest, if you're starting to feel that initial pull to just not spend, then don't, which is a shame, but this is the one upside to not spending. I can definitely say this is a mentality I've got on another account, is the game is now at a place where, honestly, arena no longer matters. They built it where Grand Arena is what matters, right? You want to know how good you do in the global scheme of things, and Grand Arena is where they've put the focus. So if you don't really care about arena and ships arena, you just do what you do and do your best, and if top 500 is your best, then great, or top 100, whatever. Like, you may not have as fast a crystal draw, but it doesn't matter. Like, your development at this point, you don't have to get to the tip of the spear in the way they've built it. In fact, the way they've built the game, ironically enough, is you want to be the tip of your GP spear, not the tip of the game spear. You don't want to spend $5,000 a month to get caught up to the 5 GP for a bunch of reasons, but one is mods. You'll never compete with those people. So the truth is, you should take your long, sweet butt time developing people to where you have like one team to gear 11, and then move to the next team, and then the next team, and then when you slowly get that in-game gear, slowly start putting it on those gear 11 characters until finally they pop to 12, or finally they pop to 13. And if you're in a decent guild that's doing decent raids and stuff, you're going to have that gear at like gear 12 stacking up that you can't even use, and then eventually someone pops to gear 12 and boom, you can take them almost to gear 13 like that, all because you've got the gear coming in. But there's no rush. Like, when I first started, there was a mad rush. It was like, we're doing, light side, TB, and you got to have, 4 million GP, and we're at 3.8. Everybody's got to get 200,000 GP. So, get your crappies to gear 12. That was a push. That was a thing. That's not a thing anymore. My Scissorman account, I'm already feeling the burden of extra GP because of ships. I'm like, man, I keep lifting up ships just because they're fun, and now I'm regretting it a little bit. I'm like, why am I doing this? And so you don't have to spend to have fun. You can take your time, and if it takes you the third or fourth or fifth time, that's okay. I find a lot of people that I've talked to have restarted and started new accounts, and they're having so much more fun on their new account versus their old account. And I can tell you, it's this dynamic that you don't have to be 3 million or 5 million or 6 million to have fun. In fact, being 1 million and kicking a bunch of people's butts in Grand Arena is kind of the game now. That's really where it's at. So don't be afraid of not spending anymore, and then just slow things down mentally and just start focusing on what's truly important character-wise, and take your time. And if your guild isn't happy with your development and where you're at, then find a new guild. Guilds are funny like that. People get all like digitally loyal to something that they really don't need to be digitally loyal to. they're great people. I'm sure you had fun, but if it's not serving your needs, they're not giving you good enough rewards, move up. If they're, too competitive and they're asking too much of you and telling you what to do, step down to a different guild. Like, there's just too many good guilds out there that are so the full spectrum. You'll find something that will fit you better if you're not happy with that. But don't feel the stress of having to spend. If you're spending and having fun, then great. But if you're spending and not having fun, then, ultimately we only have ourselves to blame for that.
Okay. Next question
For Loki.
How this transpires.
And Loki, this is a kind of an update from one of the previous questions that you had, but it's kind of like its own question in and of itself. So the question was from Daniel McCracken. And the question about the Padme, GK, Anakin, Ahsoka squad. His question is actually, what is the Zeta priority for the Padme, GK, Anakin, Ahsoka squad? And is there one that can be left off?
Is there one that can be left off? I would say no. I think the Ahsoka Zeta is like super important. Anakin's good. Anakin obviously with Padme, right? Those are the two. But the priority, I think, right now is, what would be the priority? Probably, I would go Padme for sure.
Lead or unique?
Sorry, I don't have my game up. What's the unique again?
The one where if somebody attacks out of turn, they gain the bonus protection, the other type of protection.
Yeah, so I would probably say Padme first, probably the lead and then the unique, but you need that extra protection. That's ultimately what's going to drive the whole thing. And then I would say the next one would probably be GK and then Ahsoka. Although, now that I think about it, probably I'd go Ahsoka next. And then GK and then Anakin.
All right. There you go. Okay. So next question for Warrior. Question is from Clash, DOE, another content creator.
Oh.
So welcome, Clash. Question is this going to keep them from putting any effort into an event of this kind in the future? Are we going to go back to marquees, referring to all the issues with Malik?
What's up, Clash? I had somebody on YouTube saying that we should do a video together. That'd be fun. So that'd be pretty cool. But to answer Clash's question, they tried lots of different events over the years, and some events are more successful than others. And I think they've come to a point where they kind of want a balance. They want these levels, right? Like, so this is the second epic confrontation, and that's where you have to do develop 10 characters, 5 on each side. Then below that, you got legendary, which are a little easier. They're difficult, but they're a little bit easier, and some strategy involved in a couple key characters, and you can compete with even lower end gear. And those are key characters that are going to be very effective in the game, but you kind of have to earn through mediocre to high end development of a single team. And then they've got below that, marquees, and those marquees we're going to give everybody an easy event that's relatively easy, that pretty much anyone can do, that you can get the character unlocked, and then you can either buy them or you can wait and farm them. And they for a while did one style, and then they switched to marquee, and then they switched to legendary, and then now they switched to epic confrontation back to legendary. And so I think they're trying to figure out a balance between doing all of it, like making sure that they don't get too into one specific kind of event, because they've done that in the past and people get burned out. Like, it's just marquee after marquee after marquee after, okay, you did an entire year of marquees, can we quit already? And if people get tired of it, it's the same thing. If you start making everything epic confrontation, I can guarantee people are going to be burned out, because epic confrontation requires 10 people at like relic tier 3. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not even fun for a lot of people to get that in-game content. I know a number of people are just like, you know what, I don't even care. I'm not even going to get gas. Like, I have relic tier 1 on these characters and I still can't unlock him, so whatever, I'm just gonna not worry about it. So they've got to balance it out. So I don't know what's in their head, honestly. They used to talk to us and respond to us occasionally and have that random, conversation. They honestly, they have literally died. They have fallen off the map. They don't talk to anyone anymore. The only two people you'll ever hear from is Top Hat on the forums or Crumb on the forums. It's either Top Hat or Crumb. They're the only two community-facing people now, and they'll be on the forums, and either one or the other will build a forum post, and it's like life support kind of communication. It's not even like healthy communication. It's just like, it's been broken for a day. We have to say something to the community. So I guess we'll roll out a paragraph. Crumb, you do it, And he's like, fuck. So excuse my language. He's like, all right, I'll do it. So that's how that's where the life support, I just think the events that they're doing, it's good. They're going to try to balance it out as best they can. But this is also coming from a team that just, I think, struggles really hard with balance.
I fully agree. Next question for Loki from Elliot Worsfold. And he asking, are Negotiator and Wat Tambor viable at 5 stars?
Yes. I think majority of the arena shards now, everybody's got a Negotiator at 5-star. And going back to all the Padme questions and all that, that's why, it's not a waste to gear up in Zeta General Kenobi, because if you have a Gear 13 Relic 7 Kenobi and a 5-star Negotiator, it's damn good in the arena, and it's really good in Territory War, and it's only going to get better when you get it to 6-star and 7-star. So there's guys in my arena shard already got him at 6-star, and that thing is a beast. And then Wat Tambor, he's just super fun. At 5-star, as long as you got the mods, I think he needs to be fast and tanky. But, a lot of us now have a lot of 6E mods, and a lot of our good mods, we've already sliced them to 6E. So as long as you got still those purple and gold regular mods that you can still throw on Wat Tambor, he's super good as a plug-and-play character, or he's good with the General Grievous team, or you can throw him in as a 5th with any of the with any of the First Order, or you can throw him in there with Old Republic. You can throw him in there with the Geos. He's super fun to play. And then when you get him to 6 stars, then you can start using him in territory battles. So he's really fun.
Okay. Next question. Ranger, you want to take a question?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So a question from Daniel McCracken.
Oh.
He says, how should I mod a Gear 12 Malik when I have the speed advantage with Revan and Bastila?
Wait. Grievous question. Say that one more time.
Not Grievous, Malik.
Oh, Malik. Oh, when you have the speed
I have a
advantage.
Gear 12 Malik.
Grievous was saying, I was like, what the hell?
Sorry, did I say Grievous? Sorry. It's how should I mod a Gear 12 Malik for when I have the speed advantage with Revan and Bastila?
There's a couple ways to go about it. Even if you have the speed advantage, right? There's 2 thoughts. You can make him, if you're Revan and your Bastard going first, then you can make one way people do it is they make him super tenacious with tons of protection, right? It's not about the speed, it's just making him just a pain in the ass. Because you're going first and, setting him off, and then, it's trying to get through him and your team's rocking and rolling. The other thing is that you'll see that even if you have the speed advantage on Revan and Basti, some people have their Malik go 3rd with really good protection, but really, really good speed. So they have a speed set with some tenacity, but it's based off his speed. So he goes 3rd to, once you got Revan going and Basti going, for him to get going as well. So there's a couple ways you do it. I tend to lean on, like for me, mine is super fast. He's like 310 speed or something like that. He goes right after my Basilishan, and I've got a ton of protection on him. He's not as tenacious as some other Maliks, but I like to get him going as quickly as possible, especially when you're facing some teams in there. Like a lot of people are putting like Grievous and the bugs in their arena. So it helps to have him go so he can just immediately go and get the taunt off, the brute, or go after Grievous right away because you don't want Grievous going. So it has advantages. Now in GAC, you're not going to see those mixed teams like Yoda or Grievous or anything like that. So it still works with the same philosophy. You're just Kill War is a little bit different, but you're usually during mirror matches. And if you're Revan and your Bastila are going first, 9 times out of 10 you're going to win. It doesn't really matter what your Malik is because you're basically beating the crap out of them before they even get a chance to go. Now RNG could always happen. I don't care what you got your Malik at, but you can make them extreme. I've seen people do this where their Malik has a ton of tenacity, decent speed, but it's just protection tenacity. You can't get any debuffs on him. You can't do anything. Or the other one's that's super fast, so he's running around removing taunts and draining the life out of the attackers and one-shotting them. So that's kind of how you can go about with the philosophy of modding. But there's no right or wrong answer, just the way you want to run your team.
Okay.
That's
Next
science. What did I win, Finn?
Nothing. The
I'm sorry,
answer
Ranger.
we were looking for.
The answer we were looking for was tuna salad. Sorry. Damn it.
Chunky tuna salad.
Damn it.
Chunky. There was a
So
chunky part to it.
close.
And you have to form it in the word of a question.
Oh, I'm sorry. What
is chunky tuna salad?
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's what we were looking for.
What is...
All right.
Yes.
So, Warrior question from Eternal Revan. And his question is, should I leave Negotiator at 5-star, or should I hoard for Malevolence, even though my Galactic Republic ships are far better than Geonosians and Vulture Droid is currently at 3 stars?
I'm just going to give you my opinion because that's what you asked for. So I would say no. I would get Negotiator 7 stars, and for a bunch of reasons. The first
Warrior, you sound distant again.
Again?
Mm-hmm.
This is.
Did you get the new iPhone, Warrior? What is going on?
No. Is it still bad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to have to disconnect and reconnect. I don't know what's going on with the app, bro. So let me disconnect and reconnect.
Okay. So we will wait for Warrior to get that response.
Oh, we're waiting. We'll just
Loki,
talk about
do you want your question in the meantime? Then we'll get. Let me
talk
see.
about our
We'll
feelings or
give, actually,
something.
Warrior's right back.
Okay,
Let's
he's
see.
right
Warrior's
back. They say he's clickly split.
Right back.
Wait.
Yep.
There he is.
Much better.
Perfect.
This has something to do with Zoom. I don't know. When I get out and get back in, it works fine. So I don't know what's going on.
That's
Sorry.
what she said.
Yeah,
Next time
weird.
I'm calling on the phone again because the phone seems to never have a problem. But when it's on internet, no matter what internet, it seems to mess.
I go through the app and usually do the call-in option through the app. So it gets both. Because at the beginning, it lets you use either internet audio or the dial-in stuff. So I use the app with the dial-in. But, all right. So, Warrior, are you good now? I think you're muted if you're...
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Okay. So first off, the Negotiator's known. We know what the meta for Negotiator is. You know which characters and teams and all of that. We're using a lot of the characters. So you're going to be investing in these characters. Why not use them in ships? It's like 2 birds, 1 stone. So it makes sense. Also, we know that the majority, if not all, of the ships to make Negotiator good are available. There's plenty of Galactic Republic to choose from and to use, enough to do even when it's 7-star.
And
Warrior went on mute. I don't know. It actually muted him on... There you go.
Weird. That is really weird. I'm back.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, guys, this app is like freaking out on me. Anyways, we know what the meta is, right? We know what the ships are. It's a known thing. The other thing is General Grievous. Okay, it's coming out soon, but there's a chance you're going to have to use a 7-star negotiator to get it. That's the first problem. The second problem, there's no ships in game that make the Malevolence valid right now. So that means that there's going to be a bunch of ships added, other than the Vulture droid. There's going to be a bunch of ships that are going to be added. Probably 3 ships at a minimum that'll be added to make it viable. That's a lot of investment money. Or you're going to be out for 6 months waiting for those things to become farmable. So you'll have the Malevolence because you saved for it and then you bought it, but then you'll have none of the characters that you're going to need to use with it. So does that make sense? And then the third, so 1 you can get now, 2 the second one you probably won't be able to get the meta now. And then the third thing, the worst part about this is, aside from you might need a 7-star negotiator, and there's not a current setup or lineup of characters or ships that would be worthy of that for the negotiator. But they've already said, they just said in their interview just recently, like yesterday or whatever it was, they were on that interview, that they're looking to balance and create like they have with Grand Arena Championships and teams, where like this team beats that team but loses to that team. This team beats this team but loses to that team. There's a very good paper, rock, scissors for Grand Arena Championships with characters. There is not a good paper, rock, scissors for Grand Arena Championships for ships. And they want to bring ships back into Grand Arena Championships, and said their goal of Malevolence and some other capital ships coming in is to provide a paper, rock, scissors situation where there's multiple teams that you can use on offense or defense, and so they can kind of expand ships in a way that would be more effective than what they've done in the past, which means that the Malevolence isn't going to be OP meta. It means it's going to be able to beat one of the metas. So the Malevolence will be able to beat the Negotiator, but the Negotiator will be able to beat the Rebels, but the Rebels will be able to beat, the whatever ship. So you know what I'm saying? It's just it's a round robin they're trying to build. So I'm not going to save up and hoard for something where I don't even know what ships are supposed to be with it yet, or if they're even in the game yet. Because if it requires me to spend $600 per ship and get crew members to Relic Tier 7 to be competitive, then I don't even want it right now.
Yep, I think that's a really good assessment of where we are and kind of a good strategy to take. Okay, Ranger.
Yeah,
question for you from Sith Lord 72. He says, "How broken will Lightside TV be when it's released?"
Just plain on bugs. That's kind of how it is.
We didn't have too many bugs with Darkside TV,
actually,
right? I mean, it's the same.
There were some bugs, right? There was.
Yeah,
that one's a bigger bug that just.
That's everywhere, though. Yeah. That's not just TV.
But no,
we see that in
there
was
there was a little bugs here and there. I don't know. I think my faith in CG is a little shaken at the moment when it comes to this, but I think for a big release like Lightside, I don't expect any major problems. There may be some small bugs like Darkside GOTB had. That just comes with new releases, and I mean, I'm hopeful that that's not the case, because that would suck ass if that happened. Imagine if we had mallet crap going on in Lightside GOTB on that release. Oh my dear.
We're just gonna pull all of TB because we made a mistake.
Oh boy, I
think it's gonna be difficult. And just to caution, people have been have been kind of interchangeably using the words, but there really is a big difference between broken and difficult. And I think Warrior described it pretty well earlier. They're gonna have this based a lot on really high relics. It's gonna be kind of the next step after Darkside GOTB, and you already see what Phase 4 is like. It's gonna be really difficult, but that's not gonna mean it's broken.
No, The difficulty of the progression is not the issue, right? It is. Is there anything happening within that, like, buttons are working, or there's a bug with teams, or there's a bug where certain things happen, or it crashes, things of that nature. That's what you're kind of looking for, right? You go in to do a special mission, and then it crashes, and you're like, well, that sucks. So, I mean, we already know it's going to be, as Warrior said, it's going to be insanely difficult. Like, I'm just preparing for pain. Like, we're getting there slowly but surely with Darkside, but Darkside Phase 4 still is a nightmare, right? And I'm hoping that just little bugs, Finn. I just want little bugs. I can handle little bugs. But if we get some big bugs, where oh boy, I just
we also might get a much higher cutoff for the GP, where guilds are better off just doing light side hot TB instead of light side Geo, right? We had, I think the cutoff was roughly around
the cutoff's going to be extraordinary.
We already have like the minimum required, but when we looked at it, it was like a 180 or so with dark side TB,
roughly.
where you were still losing a lot of get ones, but you were kind of gaining enough get two to maybe balance it out. And then you obviously could get potential other bonuses and stuff, and depending how ready your guild was for Watt and those kind of things. But light side could be considerably worth a higher kind of.
I will say on the GOTB though, like my guild is 145, 150, whatever, and we tried it, and I remember the first time we got like 6 stars, and then 7 and 9, and we came up with a strategy, and we're like into the teens now. The rewards are insane though. I will give them that. It's like the only thing that gives good rewards anymore. Like when you look at what you need compared to what you're getting, the old content does not provide anything worth crap except for like top 3 Sith raid. That's it. Other than top 3 Sith raid, you don't get anything. And now GOTB is giving all the relic stuff or whatever. People are like, how did you get multiple characters relics up so high with your main account? It's like, or my Scissorman account. It's like GOTB, my friends. Like they're giving us all those Gear 13 finishers. They're giving us 50 pieces of this and 75 pieces of stun guns. Are you kidding me? Like that's the one thing, is they're weighting heavily. The newest content has the best stuff. So if you can get into a guild that's even if you're competing crappily with the event, you're still going to get something that's significantly better than any other thing. So
and Warriors app muted him again in the middle of the set.
Dang it. I don't know why I did that. So we go back and forth. That's so weird. We go back and forth. Sometimes we do the GOTB, and like this time we're not doing GOTB, we're doing Dark Side Hoth because we want that regular get currency. So we'll go back and forth, but you just got to find a guild that's going to, allow you to progress in a way that you want. And some of that in-game content, while it might be silly, like GOTB is silly, it's like ridiculously difficult. We only do the first couple of days. We just do like 2 days on the first section and 2 days on the second section, but we still get like 13 to 14 stars doing it that way. And it just helps get all that in-game gear that you can't get any other way. So the good news, if I had to spin it positively, and I am going to spin it positively, is the new light side GOTB. I can guarantee if it's anything like the last GOTB, it's going to have, even at like 6 stars completion, it's going to have some huge pot at the end of it that's going to be worth the attempt, because they want people to play the in-game content. So think about that.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting decision point for a lot of guilds with that, especially since now with the gas stuff, they've increased the value of the original get currency, the get ones, in order to get your gas, and for people that don't have Malik. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how difficult it is, what the rewards are going to be, and what decision guilds are going to make based on their GP level. So
all right.
Okay. So I think Loki is back. Loki.
Yeah.
All right. So Loki, we have a question to you from Danilo Papayas, and he says, with relics being especially good on tanks and myself preparing for an eventual Sith fleet meta, would a Royal Guard Gear 13 with relics be a viable option?
At this point, I would say no. I mean, we don't know what's coming. You said for the Sith ships? Is that what he said?
Yeah, he's thinking there's going to be a Sith meta. Sith fleet meta.
No, I don't see it. I don't see it. That's the problem, and that's a heavy investment on Royal Guard? Is that what it is?
Yeah, he was asking about Royal Guard.
Yeah, I mean, you got Palpatine. I mean, so is this Palpatine up and running? I mean, if you're going to gear 13 somebody, I would go Palpatine first. But that's a big investment for something, again, that's not known yet. I would focus on what we know is coming, and light side Geo. So I mean, Negotiator's probably going to be really good in that event. But I wouldn't do Royal Guard right now. I mean, they haven't reworked his kit at all. He's pretty much one of the forgotten original characters that probably is not even worth taking up right now. So I would say no.
He was the OG OP tank in Squad Arena back in the day.
Yeah, he was good 3.5 years ago. Yeah.
Because there was no protection, right? So it was so much easier to get below 50% health back in the day with Royal Guard to get him to taunt.
Yeah, I mean, he was one of the guys that you pre-craft too, right? I mean, he had your Greedo, but then you throw the Mark V on him. The dude got super tanky, and you couldn't beat him. So. But that was 3.5 years ago.
Yeah, it was. So. We've been playing this game way too long. Okay. Yeah. Next question to Warrior from Paparazzi. And her question is, what do you think about how Watt is a blast, even at low gear and stars? Do you think we need more characters like Watt in the game?
Yeah, so the reason why Watt works so well is he's a specialist kind of character that is like C-3PO, BB-8, and Hermit Yoda. These 4 characters don't actually have attacks, and so they don't have the capability of really being viable as a tank or an attacker or anything like that. They're strictly just a special character that basically boosts the other 4 characters up significantly enough that they're viable. They're basically the only character that is viable at the lower gear levels anymore, because with the addition of relics, it's made basically all characters unviable at anything less than a relic tier 1. You know what I mean? So the one thing that is cool about Watt and some of these other, the characters I just mentioned, is they're the only class left that's basically worthy understarred, undergeared. So yes, they are viable, they are amazing, and we need more of them for sure. The more we can get, the better it will be.
All right.
Next question for Loki from Guzza Buzza. And the question is there a way to get a refund from Apple or Android? I want all my money back. Figure this is perfect for you, Loki.
I burned all of my requests, but no, I said it numerous times on the stream. I mean, it's a business. If you bought a brand new car and something wasn't working, then you go complain. And then if you can't get help from the dealership that you bought the car at, then you go to corporate and you complain to them. So I've gone both routes, and you can try EA. If they don't hook you up, then try the App Store, whichever store you downloaded it from, and see if they can help you out. There's a lot of links. I mean, I have Apple, I have iOS, so I just click on the little iTunes support and I complain, and majority of the time I got my refund. So that's definitely an avenue you can do. I think Google Play has the same thing, or the Google Store, so you can try that. But yeah, I mean, I treat it as a business. If the product is defective, then you got a good case to open up and see what they can do for you.
Yeah, it's not like CG is lacking in giving you reasons to do these requests. It's kind of sad.
I can tell you with Android, it's there's a very specific policy you got to kind of follow if you want help at all. The first is the proper protocol is within 48 hours, preferably within 24 hours, you actually go to Play Store. Because you made the purchase through Play Store, you need to request the cancellation through Play Store. The way you do that is you go to your Google account, you find your purchases, and to the right there's 3 dots. You click it and you say, refund. And then they ask why. You can say accidental purchase, or, didn't get product as received, or whatever it is that you feel you've been, ripped off for, whatever. And then they pretty much always give it. The only distance to that is if you do it all the time and you abuse it. I don't encourage abusing this. I encourage you never doing it unless you have a legitimate concern or a legitimate issue. If you do it within the 24 to 48 hours through Google Play, it doesn't even go to the developers or EA or anything. It's in a whole nother ball of wax, and it's much easier to get your money back. After 48 hours, Google Play will not do anything for you. You're out there into the wild, and you now have...
Your Zoom muted you again, Warrior.
I don't know why that keeps doing that. So you're going to go after 48 hours through the developer, which means you're going to have to go through Capital Games, or you're going to have to go through EA. And I can tell you that Capital Games will not do anything for you ever, guaranteed, unequivocally they won't, which means you'll have to lean in on EA after 48 hours. And EA has customer service. It's the only way you can do it. And if they see you're a heavy spender, might do something small for you. But if they see that you're not a heavy spender, they ain't doing nothing for you. So I highly encourage you, if you have an Android and you legitimately have a concern about a cost of something you were charged that you're not getting within 48 hours, you go through Google Play and it's a much better experience.
There you go. Okay. 2 more questions. One for Warrior, one for Loki, and then we'll start doing the fun questions and wrapping up.
Okay.
So Warrior, question from Grande Verga. The question is there a list or other resource to hoarding gear? I'm wondering what and how much I should hoard for the next event.
That's kind of a vague question, but we don't really know, because until a character comes in, we don't know what a gear thing is. But I can tell you that all characters moving forward are going to require all of the really hard to get and expensive gear, like the Cryotex, whatever, are Crimea River Tex. They are going to be required on every character, and not just like one, probably 4 minimum moving forward. And then of course, remember, those characters are going to need, relics and things like that. That's one thing about my Scissorman account I love. I'm not particularly hoarding gear, but I just kind of am accumulating gear like you do. And then I went back to the First Order to gear them up for BB-8, and I went to gear 9 on all of them within like 4 days, because none of them require anything of substance. It's like the old gear is so easy to get, and it's just not a big deal. It's so funny that, but the new characters, just expect, if it sucks, you're going to need a lot of it. So if you're going to hoard on an unknown entity, you need to hoard all of the newest and most sucky gear. And then there's some obscure gear that you don't have a lot of, but not many characters need. Plan on them using some of that too. That one weird, Mark 6 ball that, you don't have any of because nobody needs it. So you've spent it all on every character, because why not? That's probably going to be something that they'll use in the new character, because they understand that it wasn't something that people are farming for. So it's just really hard when it's an unknown entity to farm for it specifically.
Okay. And then Loki, your last question from Briaris Aegon. Question, is Mace getting a rework?
I hope so. They can start with the rework that they did for him in Darkside GOTV, where he's got the real, he's got most of his moves, and he's pretty good in that GOTV. So they just need to build on that. I'm hoping that they do it with the if they have in Lightside GOTV, if they have the little Coliseum battle with all the Jedi. I hope not only him, but the other Jedi also get reworks as well, so that big event, or where you fight the 2 monsters in the Coliseum with the Jedi and Padme and Anakin, probably that should be pretty fun. So I would say yes, and I would say expect to maybe see some of the other Jedi getting the same kind of rework.
All right, and now we are on to the fun questions. So first fun question from I'm just gonna say it, Uta.
Utah, you son of a...
I know. Has anyone heard from Crazy Excuses in a while? I talked to her a couple months ago.
I've talked to her here and there. I'd say, hey, what's up and stuff.
She's still around. She's obviously not going to be as public because, and I think she's still working at CG, right? So it's not going to be as public on the CG front. And if she is one of the CG_ people, then we're not going to necessarily know. Yep. Darkside 1972, question for the panel. Everyone's thoughts on the final episode 9 trailer. Did everyone get their tickets already? So I can start. The trailer didn't really give a lot away, which I was happy about. It was pretty cool. It had little things here and there, but really didn't give away a lot about what was going to happen. So I was happy about that. And I have my tickets for now the Friday. So it's the 20th. At 4 p.m, because that's the only showing of episode 9 in IMAX 3D. So I'm going to see it in IMAX 3D on the the second day, not the original night. Ranger,
Yes.
where are you with episode 9 trailer?
I've got the hookup,
tickets?
so I'll be seeing it that weekend. I thought the trailer was great. I don't think it's the best trailer, but I think it was just the first time I saw it, and when we did it, I was doing it with the mini Ross reviews. I was sitting there just looking at it and just stunned. Like, there was so much that came at me. I was like, wait, what? I had to go back and watch it. And then the more I went back and watched it a few times, the more I was like, okay, I'm digging this. So I'm excited for episode 9. I'm very hopeful that they make a good movie, but I trust in J.J. Abrams, and so I'm excited.
Yeah, we're not really doing any spoilers or anything, just talking about our reaction to episode 9, the episode 9 trailer. Warrior, what was your reaction to the trailer, and do you have your tickets?
So I'm a little more like Cubs fan Han. I'm kind of a fan of all of it. Of course, I can be critical of this or that, or frustrated with like moments they added. That's like, why? That was super unnecessary. Because we're watching it, trying to enjoy it. But overall, I mean, like, I love Solo. I love Rogue One. I feel like J.J. Abrams isn't super creative, but he's really, really masterful at making something digitally spectacular. So I feel like I'm going to get my special effects fixed, but I'm going to have a storyline that's going to be kind of solidly where it probably should be, because he's going to lean in heavier on like comics and stuff, because that's just who he is, versus trying to take his own creatives, and that's the thing, us fans, not huge fans of them being creative with the story, like, give us the story the way it was meant to be, kind of thing. So I'm happy about that. I think the there's a lot of deception in the preview, and I think that's good, because we saw her with a red saber, and we saw C-3PO with red eyes, and and them fighting.
Well, that was the first trailer, right? Yeah.
And are they working together? Are they working against each other? They show scenes of them fighting, but then scenes of them working together to destroy relics. It'll be interesting. It's good. But as far as tickets, so we have 2 theaters in my town. One's Regal, and Regal's one of those places where you buy the ticket and they oversell, and then you have to wait in line for like 8 hours outside in the cold for like your 10 people that want to go, and then you got to bring like 20 jackets with you and try and save seats, and it's a nightmare. I don't do that. Screw that. I'll wait a month before I do that. The other theater has reserved seating. It's all recliner seating and reserve seating, and when you buy like seat 6A, like, you're in 6A, like nobody else gets it, it's yours. That's the only theater I like to go to. They have not yet released the ticket sales for that. They're waiting a little closer. The reason is they have less of the seats, and they want to get a little bit closer to the event first, but they are going to buy that show. They said they're going to have a lot of showings, but when they do it, I'm going to buy an entire row out for my family. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm calling them every Tuesday until they release the tickets, because it'll be a Tuesday when they decide to go on sale. So I call them every Tuesday morning. You guys selling the tickets today? Nope. Okay. So I'm just waiting, because reserve seating's awesome. You can show up 2 minutes before the show, walk in, have them, you rip your ticket, go in, and your seat's guaranteed. And it's these huge recliners with it's just amazing. I love the theater. I wouldn't go anywhere else.
All right, and Loki?
I like the trailer. I don't think it was the best one out of the batch of the trailers, but I liked it. As far as tickets, I always go to this little hole in the wall theater. It's down the street from my house, and I plan to do that. You don't have to buy the tickets in advance. You just show up, and it doesn't really sell out. They only have like 4 theaters, and they only show that movie. So I'm sure I can slide into one of the slots and watch the movie. But I'm super excited. I want to see that whole dark side Rey thing, man. I think it's just awesome. So I'm excited to see that.
Yeah. Okay. And let's see. Next thing is next question. Fun question is Browse Bayer. Question: when do you expect new content for the game? Oh yeah, I already asked this one.
Yeah, you already did. Yeah.
Guzza Buzza. So what should be a huge deal that got brushed off, that doesn't get brushed off until Monday? It looks like we don't feel like coming to the fix is coming over the weekend. Yeah. So what would be something that you would consider a big deal for them to fix over the weekend? I don't know what CG would consider something.
I don't
like,
know.
Maybe
I know
the
what
game
I
actually
consider,
crashes.
but yeah.
If they would have released
They got
Relic,
to fix the damn
and
buttons.
if you were leveling your relics up, and for some reason it like went from like level 3 to level 3 to level 3 to level 3 to level 3 or something silly like that, they would have had people working 24 hours a day to fix it, because that affected their payroll. By the way, anything that affects their check, they will get fixed. Everything else is going to take time, a lot of time. The reason why Malik is kind of a higher priority for them, like a medium priority that they are trying to fix relatively quickly, is because it affects in-game currency, specifically for the in-game user, which are whales, which are paying for their products. So that's the only reason why. You don't want a bunch of whales to have a bunch of free-to-play being given Malik for no good reason when they had to earn it, because now they've spent for nothing in their mind. And so then you lose that in-game player, and that's what they're trying to avoid. That's why Malik's a medium priority. It's not even a high priority. It's a medium priority. They're going to fix it, within a week or so. Okay. But if it affected their like literal clicks right now, if it was a pack issue, it would be fixed.
Good point.
All right. Next question for Warrior from What Else 73. He says, how much more significant is a turd fire in a dumpster than a dumpster fire? I have not heard that one, so I wanted to check context and range. Thank you for teaching me a new term, Warrior.
Yeah, so what's up, What Else? So the problem is a dumpster fire can be handled traditionally, and that's fine. But when there's a turd involved, you don't know it. And then when you get in there, you're spraying water and it's like splashing back, and all of a sudden you're covered with this disgustingness, and you're like, it's just worse. It's just worse all the way around.
All right.
Can't believe there's a science we're discussing around a turd fire in a dumpster.
Oh my god, he called the shit poop.
All right. Next question. Can CG mess up the Anakin event, please, so we can use him too?
God, the Gets. Yes, just give me the Gets. This is ridiculous.
Oh my god. If they mess up the gas event the same way that they're doing Malik, this is gonna get bad very quickly. Next question. Is Dooku like Captain Han all over again? Doesn't using him in TB cause all kinds of hidden ability bugs? It's true. A lot of these like disappearing abilities have been seen with Dooku. He's not the only one, but it has largely been Dooku that we've seen it with, right? And I think they made a post about it, didn't it? About how it was the characters that have an extra turn at the end that finish off the battle. There was a post by I think either Chrome or Top Hat, like Warrior was mentioning. I can't remember which, but they had a.
Yeah, for me, it's retribution or something, because these disappearing buttons were happening in Hoth territory battles.
Yep.
The original one, right?
Mm-hmm. And usually with Charut.
To do with, like, retribution.
Yeah. They said
It's
it had.
annoying.
Yep. They said it had something to do with the fact that if they get an extra attack in order to end the battle, when it switches to the next wave and stuff, that's what it causes the issue. So we
all know what the
character.
Listen, just blame Finn and let's move on.
I know.
Seriously,
I apologize.
Why are we getting? Oh, I'm sorry. What is to blame Finn? I'm sorry. I didn't put that in the proper context of the question.
All our YouTube members that have the green text have the I blame Finn icon, so now is the good time to use it.
Yes. No, what is I blame Finn?
Yeah, I blame Finn is the correct response here. I apologize.
I mean, it's like, God,
but even Grand Arena for me, right? Like last night, I had a match in Grand Arena. All my buttons disappeared, and it was against the clone team.
Yeah.
So the clone team does it. So imagine you're gonna have GOTV light side, and you have to use clones, and then all your battles crash.
Yep.
Which is terrible.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Side note, that's not a possibility. That is unequivocally the future of light side GOTV.
I'm sorry, Warrior. You have to put that in a form of a question.
What is GOTV is unequivocally
what will
going to
frustrate every player in approximately 30 days or less?
We're playing Jeopardy. Like, this is what happens when light side GOTV fails. Warrior, what is?
Guzza, the way you get the green text is if you become a member or subscriber on the YouTube.
Yeah, you have to. What is it?
It's
You
like
have to
separate
hit- you have
from.
to hit the-
We unfortunately
yeah,
can't
we
control,
can't control
it.
that.
YouTube controls that,
Yeah.
so
I
we
mean,
give the
we
icons
tried.
as fun for anyone
They
that
told us to
is
piss
on our.
off.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, a couple more questions here. Durgan, Finity, are the critters actually porgs that have turned to the dark side?
Oh.
Porgs don't turn to the dark side.
Yes, they do.
They're all friendly until you piss them off. They still aren't dark side though. They're still they're just angry light side.
The hate makes them powerful.
Yes, they're just hateful light side.
Which is the dark side, you buffoon.
Nope. Nathan Herod, is CG so bad that EA is ashamed of them? Should they give us an 8-star Rose Tico?
Oh my god.
Oh my god. That would be so bad. And please no 8-star. That would totally ruin the game. Oh,
Well,
thank you,
guys.
Guzabus.
I'm sorry, what
Guzabus has
is
become a
an
member.
8-star rose taco?
Awful. Paparazzi has a question for you, Warrior. So are you saying that you're looking for a guild for your Scissorman account? Mine would take you.
No, not at all. I actually just clarified that after I said that and said that my Force Canada is amazing, even at lower levels. We do everything. We do all in-game content. There's nothing we don't do. So that's the weirdest, craziest part. Is it only requires a few of us to really try hard, and our lower end rosters are actually really laser focused, which is why we're able to compete at such a high level.
All right, and the last question from Guzza Buzza: how hard would it be to sneak into CG to find out how many people are actually working on the game? This would be stealth level. I think this is for you, Ranger.
I can't reveal my techniques. On a scale of 1 to 10, wouldn't be hard.
Their office is out in the open too, because I've seen their office. I went to Sacramento and went to their office it was on the outside. It was on the weekend. You can kind of see into their office. I will say there was a light on. Now I don't know if that's like the same thing people do when they're on vacation and leave a light on just to make it seem like somebody's there. But
that's what Motel 6 does.
Yep.
They'll keep the light on for you.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I don't know for sure, but there you go.
All right. So let's wrap this up with our pimp session. We only have one pimp today who needs to do some pimp, and doing some pimping. Sorry, let me clarify that. I'm sorry. What is pimping? And that's our good friend Warrior. Warrior, you got a lot of cool stuff going on. What's going on there in the YouTube land and stuff for Warrior?
Yeah, you can check me out on Warrior Presents or Warrior's Roster Reviews, both channels. I try to maintain a positive attitude through all of this. I do occasionally give my opinion on the weirdness that is Capital Games, but all in all, I try to keep a pretty positive aspect. I mean, if you're not having fun, you probably shouldn't be playing kind of mentality. So trying to have fun. I love my Scissorman account. My Warrior account's okay. I mean, it's fine. But I do passionately love my Scissorman account. So that's why I like to stream that, because people can see my joy and my fun when I'm doing that. So we do a minimum of a weekly live stream. Work on roster reviews on the side. And then we try to do the rest of
Wait, he cut out.
It went all distant again.
That's awesome. Well, I guess it's time to leave. So you guys have a wonderful day.
Oh, God. All right, well, I'll finish up for you. Check out Warrior on his Scissorman account. Please do. It's a wonderful thing. He tries to do a live stream at least once a week. I catch him when he can do it, and has his guest on and stuff. It's really good stuff. So whenever he can, showing GAC or whatever he can, just check out. Check out Warrior Presents. Check out his Scissorman account. Check out his roster reviews and support this guy. He comes here every Saturday consistently. So show the love for our boy Warrior.
Show the love.
Share the load. So check out our good friend Warrior. We appreciate him being here all the time. And with that, we just I'll close this up. We're gonna get ready to go do some GAC. Yeah, you know me. And this is going to be right after this. So as soon as we get done here, I will flip the script and we will get right into GAC. You're going to have fun like we always do. I win most of my GACs, but we just like to have fun, Finn. That's what we're doing. We're just going to have fun. We'll win. We'll get cray. That's what we do. And then we'll try to come up with something tonight for you guys, and maybe I'll do some Battlefront. I'm trying to see what's going on. Battlefront's a pain in the ass right now because it's crashing all the time. It's not just CG having problems. Battlefront, yesterday I tried to do stuff with my clan. A lot of people showed up because they're really frustrated with the crashes, and then we tried to do some battles, and I crashed another 4 times, so that was really not fun. So we'll see if they've got them. Check the forums for EA and stuff, but might do some HVV with some of my top players in my clan, and we'll see how that goes. But GAC's out right after this. But do me a favor, guys. They're not here, but there's a lot of other channels that come and support the Jedi Academy, Operation Metaverse, the Alliance with Remon, all these great content creators. No matter, even if they're here or not, just Ian, the Escape Podcast, Nev's channel, Mobile Gamer, Arnold Cub. Find all these great content creators. Check out their stuff. If you like it, support them. You know, they're putting out this great content for you guys, especially for those that are here on the Jedi Academy. They take time out of their busy life and busy schedule to be here to answer your questions, to help you out in your game. And so just simple things like that, subscribing to their channel and watching some of their videos, it really does make a big difference, guys. So please do that. And if you're watching this, you're watching RSG. Finn, we got a lot of stuff going on right now.
We do. And I'm sleepy.
Yeah, I'm... You and me both, brother. Our big thing is we are trying to raise money for the American Cancer Society as we fight the fight against pediatric cancer. That's our theme for the fight against cancer this time around. We visited the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta here last month and played Battlefront with the kids and gave stuff away. You can go watch the video on our Tiltify campaign, Tiltify link, which we had someone donate to this already, and we're over $5,000 Finn, on our way to $17,500. We're raising this money for the ACS so they can continue their fight to basically get rid of cancer, so no one has to deal with it. I'm sure cancer has touched all of us in some way, in some form, in some shape, and we're doing all we can here at RSG to make sure that it goes bye-bye. Not bye, but bye-bye. Get the hell out of here, cancer. We hate you. F cancer. And then this is all going to culminate into us going to Disney World again this next year in April, where we will be doing the half marathon and the 5K run. So it'll be a lot of running there, so it'll be a good time, but it's well worth the effort. And check out our content on all our other stuff. Finn's doing Borderlands over on Twitch, so make sure you support our boy Finn when he's doing that. We've got D&D, we've got Battlefront, we've got Tactical Monsters. We're doing all our stuff for SWGOH. So there's a lot of stuff out there. So check it all out. And yeah, so make sure you give us a thumbs up, subscribe, leave comments, all that good stuff. And what the hell? What the hell? Ah! Oh my god. What? Wait a minute. Thanos! Didn't you die, Thanos? Wait a minute.
That is what you think.
But you're smiling. Didn't you, like, turn to ash or something?
That is what you think.
That's what a big head you have. You've really lost weight, Thanos. I mean, your head's still the same shape, proportionally, but the rest of you is really slimmed down. Have you been like...
My body's still growing back after being turned into
Okay, all right. So there's that. So there you go. So
it's not quite proproportional.
Okay, that's...
but if I move it forward, then it looks a little...
Yeah, don't move your head because it gets all, like, freaking people out.
RSG wristband. Thanos approved.
Yes. The Thanos approved the RSG wristband. You get that at the Tiltify campaign link, so... Why did he snap his finger and get rid of cancer? You suck, Thanos. You could have just given us the fist. Okay.
Die to the glove, not the cancer.
Yeah, that's right. All right. So have a great rest of your day. We're going to flip over do some GAC. So, immediately, give me 15 minutes, and we'll be doing that. So with that, we're going to call this one done. So on behalf of myself and the wonderful Jedi Academy, thank you guys so much for joining us and your support. Very much appreciated. With that, we'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.